Okay, so the time over to you, Tina.
Okay, so I'm going to spend a lot of time sharing the screen tonight so that way I can go through and tell you a little bit about the course really quick. I don't want to spend much time on me, but I've been with CGMS for many years now, taught, just completed another cohort, or we're getting ready to go into testing on the credential course. And I think I just finished up my fourth or fifth round of doing the Montessori Beginnings class. So it's very fresh for me because we just completed. So that's what we're going to go over tonight is this Montessori Beginnings course. Feel free to put any questions you have as we go along into the chat and we'll try to come back and answer them, but I'll try to be fairly thorough in showing you around the course. I have been a Montessorian for over 15 years. I'm kind of losing track of time now on how long it's been. I guess maybe almost 20 years now. All right. I hope everybody can see my screen and we'll get going here. So, welcome. And I am not clicking. So, hold on a second. There we go. Nope. I'm having a little bit of a technical difficulty. Okay, we got it figured out now, I believe. So, again, welcome to Montessori Beginnings. Thank you for joining Catherine and myself, Tina Laubach, for this insightful introduction to Montessori Beginnings course. Right, well, I'm being like hopeful here that this is insightful for you. What this course is designed for is for parents, people who are assistants, people who've been put into a position where they're working as a lead teacher, even though, or lead guide, even though they don't have any training, and other educators. I think this program is good also for like assistant directors to learn a little about Montessori. The program offers a deep dive into the infant toddler Montessori principles and respectful caregiving. So the key focus in the program in the Montessori's beginning or introduction to 0 through 3 is the infant toddler principles, respectful caregiving, and then the practical application of it. I kind of wanted to start out by sharing some a piece of information that's right at the beginning of the Moodle when you open it up. It reminds all of us that there's no time more important than the first 3 years of life. Your work will make a lasting impression. Sometimes we can feel like it's a thankless job, working with the 0 through 3 year olds, and it's actually the most important job there is in education. In this session, we're going to cover the course roadmap. We're going to look at the 10-week journey through the core pillars of the infant toddler development. We're going to do a walkthrough of our learning management system, including taking a sneak peek at some of the video lectures and discussions, and looking at some of the reflective readings. We're going to look into the insights into building the resource album, what journaling, note taking looks like, and the art of scientific observation, and how your it's 8 o'clock, bear with me, how your participation leads to professional development certificate at the end of the course, what you need to do to actually get that certificate. So through this, it will transform your practice with children. I'm going to talk to you as if you are in the classroom, and using this in the classroom. But if you're using it as a parent, if you're using it as a school administrative person, it will make a huge impact in your day. From caregiving is the curriculum to the science of the prepared environment. What we want you to do is discover how you can best support learners with intention and joy. Whether you are seeking professional credentials or personal enrichment, we want to invite you to see how this program can transform your practice. The course that I just completed, we had quite a mix of classroom assistants, lead guides, and parents. And I believe from the feedback that I've received to them, they all in their different areas received so much beneficial information from this course. So let's kind of do an overview first of what do you learn? What are the concepts that we cover in the 10 weeks of the course? In weeks 1 and 2, it's an orientation, it's getting to know each other, and it's covering some of the basic principles of Montessori. The very first week, we ease you into it. It's a little light reading, it's a few videos, some get to know you, and basic discussion questions. By weeks 3 and 4, we're settling into a routine. Everybody's starting to get the hang of the work that's involved. And this is when we start looking at caregiving as the curriculum and how they are navigating the world. By week 5, we really dig into what so many of you want to know, and that's positive guidance. How do we talk to the children? How do we encourage the children through our body language, through our interactions with the other teachers, through modeling, to get the most from our prepared environments? We want to go through all of that before then we get into week 6 and 7, where we start talking about the care of the environment and the care of the self. This is the materials. What are the children supposed to be doing? How are they caring for the environment? How can that look in your environments? And then what does toileting look like? What does feeding and sleeping look like in the infant and toddler environments? Just like to throw in some little pictures so it's not just all words up on the screen when you're looking at this. And I thought this would be a good time to show a community meal of everybody sitting together. So in week 8, we jump back a little bit and we go back into some philosophy. We're looking at the sensitive periods, the planes of development, the absorbent mind, because Tina is who she is. I'm going to throw in some human tendencies in there because I am all about the human tendencies and understanding that if you work with toddlers. So we will be looking at that. Week 9 is one of my favorite weeks for people who really need to understand sensory motor and the timeline of development. We will go from young infancy, young nido, all the way up through 36 months, showing some amazing psychosensory materials that you can use in the classroom. You'll spend a lot of time with Terry Sherrill and Kathy Leach during that time, learning about many of the materials. Then we kind of come together in week 10 to just kind of go over the guide's journey. We want to look at the teacher preparation. How do you prepare yourself and your role within a team? There can be many different members within a team in a school, and we look at what your role looks like there. All right, so we kind of just did a simple overview of the 10 weeks. Some things that I wanted you to know about the coursework. All of the videos and the articles are available from day 1. So for somebody who's in the credentialing course, you'll know that you don't have access to everything from day 1. In the 10-week course, you can see all the videos. Why I tell people this is important, usually in week 1 or week 2 when we're in Zoom class, the very first questions that come up are, how do I get the children to stop climbing on the shelves? Or toileting. How do I convince the parents about toileting? And I I have to focus each week. We can answer a few questions here or there, but I really have to focus on the coursework. So what I will do is direct you to, okay, that's in week 6, that's in week 7. Once you finish your coursework for this week, go watch this video and this video. So I really love that you have access to maybe some of the crucial information you need to just increase your survival in the classroom. Now, the assignments won't be open and the discussion post won't be open yet. I open up the work part the Friday before the beginning of the week. So our weeks will always start on a Monday and run through a Sunday. And so on Friday, Saturday, for you, it will probably be Saturday morning. We'll work that out. The work for the following week will be open. So we give you a couple of days. If you're one of those people who like to be ahead of the game, we like to give that to you. The classes will be determined as it gets closer to starting the course, but I'm assuming with the time zone differences, it'll either be around this time or it will be evening during the week around 7 o'clock Singapore time in the evening. So we haven't really finalized, but it will look like something like that, which is either about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning for me or 8 o'clock in the evening, which is totally fine. Both of those work for me. All right, so some practical application insights into building an album, journaling, note taking, and the art of scientific observation. So, what is this going to look like? Many of you might know about the albums that we put together in a credentialing course. You don't have to do that for this course, but you only get this course for the 10 days and then 30 days afterwards. There's a grace period once those 10 weeks are over. After that, you don't get to access the videos or the articles. So it's important that you make a resource album of some sort. So what I recommend, if you're a paper person, to get a 1 or 2 inch binder with some dividers and add your weekly notes, your articles, everything like that into. I think it's important also to add your assignments and your really good discussion posts in there or somebody else's that you've seen. It can help you have good information to go back on. If you're not a paper person, then keeping it well organized in a file folder in your computer is another way that you can do it. Note taking, you will want to take some notes while you're watching the videos. This is how I always recommend. Everybody has their own learning style. I have found that I like to watch the videos while I'm going for a walk, or not really watch, listen to the recordings when I'm going for a walk, doing the dishes, doing some laundry, not taking notes, just giving it a general listen. And then when I can give 100%, I sit down and take my notes and watch the video again. What I found is this makes my note taking take so much less time. And so that's just one recommendation I like to give everybody. Take notes as you go along, journal your thoughts. If you have a question, a thought, an idea, an opinion while you're watching the video, document that, and then bring that to class because we'll want to talk about that during class. So make sure you bring those. And then your scientific observation. So discussion is the key to understanding, observing children and their environment and the connection. It's going to be important while you're doing this. If you're in a classroom, do some observations, make some notes, observe the children, because half of the class is going to be listening to me talk. I'm going to have a slideshow like this or something, and we're going to be talking about the course. But the other half, you're going to be in small breakout rooms talking with other people like you in classrooms. And you want to make sure that you have some observation notes from things that happen so you guys can discuss that in some of our breakout rooms. All right. So how your participation, that is a hard word tonight, leads to professional development certificate. You've got to watch all the videos. All right. So you need to watch them. And you need to read the articles. We've got to see that the little boxes in there are clicked and that you have taken time to watch the material. We can see that on our side. It tells us the time and the date on our side of when you've watched it. You need to attend the weekly classes and participate in those classes. If you need to miss a class, it's fine. We understand. This is what I can tell people is the people who come to the more classes are more likely to actually complete the course, do the work, and get the certificate. This is where we take the reading and we really put the reality into it. We provide, that is where you'll hear other people's struggles and where they've grown. So this is where you'll connect with other Montessorians. I feel it's really important that you come to the class. What I ask is if you can't make it to class, you just send me a quick note, let me know you can't make it. What I do is record all the classes and I'll put them in a place called the Community Corner in the Moodle, and you'll be able to go back and watch them. The one thing that won't happen though is because I use a Chromebook, I cannot record breakout rooms. So you will miss out on those conversations. Those don't come over into the video, into the recordings very well. Then you want to, there's going to be some journaling. So you'll want to watch the video each week for the journal reflections. On weeks 5, 6, and 7, there will be assignments that you need to do. We're going to take a look at some of that in just a few minutes. And as I mentioned with all of this, sometimes one week is busy, you're traveling, you're sick, your children are sick, the school's closed for some reason. So we do offer a 30-day grace period after the course where you can submit the work. You let me know that you submitted it and everything is fine. All right. So what I want to do now is actually take you into the Moodle, show you around a little bit so that it's not too foreign when you start. So we'll navigate that a little bit, and we're going to watch a couple of videos so that you can kind of get an idea of what it's like watching the instructors or watching some of the other types of videos we have. I think I chose 4 different short little pieces we'll watch so you can get an idea of the material. And I'm gonna stop and let's get over here. So this is what the course is going to look like when you first log in. You're going to see this sweet little one, which I will tell you is one of the instructors, I think grandchild, such a cute little picture. And this is where we start out. In the first little section here, you'll learn about your instructional guide, which most likely will be me. It'll give you the course guide. I'm going to click on that for you. It will be a little hard for you to see. Just the way that it populates. No. But there's a guide that takes you through all the weeks, what you need to do. So in case you forget something we've said tonight, everything is at your fingertips. Once you open up, you can get to it. Goes through each week. It tells you ahead of time how long each video is going to be and what the reading is going to be for each week. So I think this is a really nice resource to take a look at. All right, so it just goes over some of the more basics, the professional development resources. They are wonderful. They give you a copy, a digital version of the Montessori Way that you can download and look at, and we'll be looking at that, and it's got some wonderful visual pictures in there. The space that I mentioned before is our community corner, and this is where we can chat with each other. I will load the Zoom recordings into there, and if you need a particular piece of information during the week, and you think this is something the whole group could benefit from, even you can add a discussion topic in there and we can all discuss it. It might be something like, what is your guys' favorite brand of underwear in the classroom? Where do you get your slippers from that the children wear in the classroom? There can be all kinds of different things that we use the community corner for. All right, so let's scroll down here. Oh, and of course I just hit the wrong one. Give me just a moment. I may have to stop the screen share. Nope. It kicked me out. Give me one moment. I'm going to stop screen share and see if I can fix this really quick. I apologize. I have been totally removed.
So while Tina is getting her screen up, so maybe if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself or you can type it on the chat. I will be happy to take some questions.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you for the question, Juvie. So we already have some people registered and paid for. We are, because we have to have a minimum number of registrants for the course. Once we hit the number, the minimum requirement, which is 10, we will go ahead and start. So this course is very flexible. We can start anytime. Okay, unlike teacher certification, we tend to have a scheduled intake. Okay. I am very tempted to sign up too.
I think I am back and up and running. I apologize for that little glitch there. Looks like we've got some more people joining anyway here. So this is what the Moodle is going to look like when you log in. Each week is listed here. I went through that overview before of what each week was, but this gives you, in week 1 is orientation and course introduction. We go through Montessori principles and practices, the child and caregiving, healthy rhythms and routines, positive guidance, preparing the environment for practical life. I chose to click on this one so that you can see this is a heavy week. This is week 6 is a week that has probably more videos than any other week. A lot of the videos are 5 minutes, 1 minute. They're short videos. But this is going to show so many different areas of the classroom and go through many of the skills that we're trying to develop in the children. But these are going to be the videos. There's going to be a reading section and some internet resources. And then this is where you will see your assignments, your discussion forums, and your journal. I'm going to go back up to week 5 and open that. And you can see there's fewer videos here, so don't feel so overwhelmed. Not every week is that heavy. The first week we do go really easy on you to help you get into the routine of doing the work and watching the videos. I wanted to show you in here for week 5 an assignment. So since I said on week 5, 6, and 7, there's a little longer assignments, what this is what an assignment's going to look like in this course is there's a couple of videos that are a few minutes long. You'll watch the videos. And then after you watch the videos, you're going to think about when you watch the video, and this question says, when Dr. Montessori tells us never do for the child that they wish that they feel they can do for themselves. Do you think she meant we should make children stand on their own 2 feet and get them to be independent as soon as possible? Or do you think she meant something else? So, what we'll want you to do is reflect on that, reflect from other things in the course that we have learned up through this point, and think about what did Maria Montessori mean, and then answer the other questions. On this assignment, we ask that it's 2 to 4 paragraphs. So, it's just a short essay that we want you to write. We don't get caught up in the grammar and the punctuation. What we want to see is if you can take the material that you have watched, put it into your own words, and preferably take a story from something that you've had in your classroom and relate it. That's what we're looking at. We want to see that you can internalize the material that you have read, and you can put down your thoughts, your ideas, your opinions, and connect it via a story, or an idea or a hope. I hope that makes sense for you. We are not looking for you to tell us what you think we want to hear. We want to hear your own words and your own thoughts, your own ideas. All right, so that's what a basic assignment would look like. And to do that, you would watch the videos. Most people are going to write it in a document and then copy and paste it in, but you open up the assignment forum, and that is where, as a reply, that is missing now because this course has ended. But right here where you see permalink, it will say reply. You will hit reply to my question, and you will submit the assignment there. We're going to go out and look at a discussion forum so you can kind of understand. Each week during the course, you will need to reply, you will need to add 2 discussion posts. One will be your own thoughts, ideas, statements based on one of the questions. A question might be, Stacy shared many ways to take advantage of our environments as a means to care for the children, especially in light of positive discipline. What does this mean? Share some examples from either the video or your experience. So this is where we're wanting you to take the work and connect it. In this, you're going to write 2 to 4 paragraphs for this question. The next one is a reply to somebody else. So we want you to do one original, and then you're going to take a look at somebody else who's already responded, and you're going to reply to that. And when I say you're going to reply to that, you're not going to say, I agree with you, and be done. You are going to, if you agree with them, you're going to write, I agree with you, why you agree with them, and you're going to connect a thought or a story or an observation on why you agree. That reply is also going to be at least 2 paragraphs. Again, we're not grading on punctuation. We're not grading on grammar. What we're looking at is that you are internalizing the coursework. The third part that I wanted to show you is not in week 5. We're going to go into, I believe, week 2 and take a look. Every week but week 5, there's going to be a reading from Kathy Leach where she's going to read from the book, The Tao of Montessori. And if you have the book, you can read it. Otherwise, you can watch her. She's going to read it out loud to you, and you're going to reflect on that. There's no minimum or maximum on there. And if you choose to take your reflection in a totally different, reflect on something from your classroom and how it kind of connected to the coursework that week instead of directly from the Tao, that is fine too. But this is where you will spend a little bit of time writing at least a few sentences to many sentences of reflection. Again, no right or wrong. I'm not looking for you to give me the answers that you think I want. I want you to take a really personal and deep look here. I want to go now into, I believe it's week 4, and we're going to look at a couple of sample videos. All right, so I need to stop the screen share for just a moment and reset it because I want you to be able to hear the video.
One of the most important aspects of Maria Montessori's applied science is the prepared environment. And it's a little like a three-legged stool. We talk about the freedom of the child, and we talked about that during our section on philosophy. But the child can be free only if the environment is prepared for them to do so. And so when we talk about the prepared environment, what are we talking about? And in this course, we're going to talk about things maybe a little differently than in other Montessori courses. And in this course, we're going to talk about some of the child's needs for 0 to 3 to be exposed to a good many things. Dr. Montessori talked about the need of the child to be exposed to adults. And she said one of the greatest mistakes that's been made in modern society is that the child has been removed from the world of adults. So,
and we think about redirecting and discipline issues. If you hear yourself saying, climb down off the table and come do a puzzle, really, of course you don't want children standing on tables. Even I, who probably sound like an anarchist right now, don't want children standing on tables. But if you have this child who's continuously on top of the furniture and not interested in sitting and doing puzzles, then, in what way can you honor this child's need to move? It always makes me think of one child in particular, Nicholas, who just threw everything. It didn't matter what he picked up. His body said, throw it. The big joke was that he was going to be a pitcher, or something. He probably is. He's old enough now. But so what I did with him was I brought out a bowl of cotton balls and I held on to the bowl. And Nicholas through, and so on line time, when we got together for our group time, which is a whole nother topic, but should be optional for this age group, they would come together and we would throw the cotton balls and we would talk about how no one was getting hurt, there was no big crash, there was no noise, but the feeling of throwing was really satisfying. And I had a really wonderful match in that particular group of children where I had a little girl whose sense of order was so powerful that she would scurry around and pick all of them up and put them back in the bowl, and then he would throw them around. So for some,
A Montessori teacher requires a special transformation. It's really a kind of transformation in the way she sees children.
Okay. Who is going to help me to set the table?
We have been trained or conditioned by society to see children
Okay. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of what the Moodle looks like when you're in there. I believe probably one of the last questions that you would have is grading. How do I get graded on this? And it pretty much is competence demonstrated. You complete the assignment, you stick to what I said, where you are connecting it to the material, connecting it to your environment that you have, and that will get competence demonstrated. If it's a little weak or I didn't feel like you really were getting where we were going, then I'll just send a message. We need a little more evidence here, and you get to add to it or resubmit. And we just kind of keep going like that. And so as long as you do the one discussion post along with the reply and the assignments and you watch the videos, that's pretty much means that you're going to get a competence demonstrated and you will complete the course. And then as long as you correct anything that kind of just needs adjustment, then that's fine. For most of your posts, I will occasionally, there'll be some weeks where not everybody gets a response, but if you respond on time, I will give you some feedback or add a little story or something to your replies. So you'll kind of know. There is not a place through the course where as we go along, you can see your grades. You're not going to see that. But if you're questioning anything, you want to know if everything looks good, you can always send me a message right in the Moodle and I'll get back to you and say, oh, this one needs some more information or this is going along. Usually at about 3 or 4 weeks in, I send you an update on where you are. Again, around week 7 or 8, I send an update, and then I touch base with everybody right at the end of the course as the course is ending, what you need to do during the grace period in order to get the certificate. As soon as you send me a message, I've done everything, then I take a look and I say, all right, I'm submitting your name for the certificate. Usually with that, if everything is good, it doesn't take too long. You get your certificate pretty quickly. And
Tina,
now,
Tina, I'm going to ask a question, and the rest of you who are in attendance, you can ask as many questions as you want. So I'm going to ask the question, what happens to those who may not be working in the 0 to 3 classroom? Would it still be suitable for them to consider this course?
absolutely. In the last course, I had 4 parents. Actually 3 were parents. One actually was in Indonesia when she was taking the course. And they were taking it from a parent standpoint. And then the other person actually is working on her master's degree, but she has a niece and just wanted to take the course, and they got a lot of value. What I do if somebody is not in a classroom, I may put you with other people in discussion groups who also aren't in a classroom, and I may have you ponder other questions. So if you are administrators, I'm going to hopefully be able to pair you with somebody else who's an administrator, and will guide your discussion questions a little bit different. I think anybody who takes this course who enjoys being in the lives of children is going to gain valuable information and an understanding of what 0 through 3 Montessori should be looking like. So, yes.
Okay, thank you. And for many of you who came in later, maybe it's a mix-up of time difference. Don't worry, I have the recording and I will make that available. I would ask that you be so kind to leave a message here, or just say that, give me your email so that I can make sure that you get the replay, or you can email it to me at cchin@cgms.edu. Okay, I'm going to type my email address again. And if you have any questions about the course, this is a good time to ask, Tina.
Absolutely. Give me some questions. Especially if
Babies are
there's
very
something
shy.
if you're really wanting from the course, ask that question so I can verify that it's in there or when we will cover it.
So we have some of them already enrolled who are joining us for the session. They're just waiting for the course to start. And some of you might be considering. Yeah. We thank you for your efforts to come to the info session. We hope you have gleaned through some of the coursework. And yeah, please ask any questions you may have.
Hi. Hi. I just want to check roughly when would we expect the course to start? How many people do we have currently?
We are halfway. So
Okay.
so we are just waiting for a few more. We do need to have a minimum number of participants in the course, because if it's too small a group, the discussion is not reached.
Understand. Thank you.
So those of you who are contemplating, do put in your application, and a place will be secured once you make your payment. And because the course is very flexible, it's professional development, it's not like the teacher certification program. We can start anytime. As soon as we meet the numbers, we'll go ahead and start.
And also with that, just like there's flexibility with it starting, if you just cannot get to the work one week, you can just double up another week, or you do that week during the grace period. What we ask is if week 3 you are really under the weather, you can't do the coursework, you let me know. You don't worry about that until the end. We don't want you to stay behind. We want you then to go to the following week. You go to week 4 and you do that coursework, and then you come back at the end of the course and catch up. We want you to stay as caught up with us as possible. Now, if you can watch the videos or most of them and read a couple of the articles before we have the class, that is always the most beneficial for you. I try to schedule the classes at the end of the week, so you've had the whole week and hopefully a weekend to look at the coursework.
Wonderful. Thank you for some of you who are sending me emails now. Okay. Do we have any more questions? No, all good? Okay, so the course fee is US 300. We have a similar course in the US. Tina, I believe the US pays 550. Is that correct?
I believe that's,
yeah.
I
So we are
believe that's
making it very affordable for our Asia learners. Simply because we don't make the same money. Yeah. So it is really very good value for money. And Tina comes with many years of experience. So I am myself considering if I can jump right in. Yeah.
I
But
would love
yeah,
that.
yeah. I actually did the teacher certification, but just never completed it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've thought about doing it in reverse, going ahead and doing the 3 to 6. I don't want to do the practicum because I'm a 0 through 3 person, but I
Yeah.
would love to go through the coursework.
Yeah. It's so rich, right? I mean, knowing the different developmental stages. In fact, both the infant, toddler, and the elementary programs are worth going for if you're working with the 3 to 6, so that you know where the gaps are and how to support them, moving forward.
I agree. The one thing I've always talked about is I think the 3 to 6 needs a 0 through 3 overview, a 3 or 4 week portion. Like the 0 through 3, we do a 3-week overview of 3 to 6,
Yeah.
and I think it needs to go in reverse. And the truth is, at least in the United States, I don't know about in Asia, but we often have 2.5-year-olds in our 3 to 6 classrooms, and it's important that you know that overlap. They don't just wake up the day of their 3rd birthday fully in the next subplane of development. So I personally think it's important.
Yeah, I totally agree. I had a child who was 2 years, 2 months, and she was so independent. Her grandmother actually works with me in the school, so she's very well grounded, and she was just ready. She's even better than the 3-year-olds. She feed herself. She's independent. Her sense of order, but she's not old enough to be in that 3, right? But she just settled very, very well. And I'm glad that I had some knowledge of the infant toddler level to be able to support her. And yeah, so I totally
Yeah, I
agree.
actually have two students who are about to turn 3. I'm temporarily in a classroom helping them out, trying to see. I really miss being in the classroom. And so I have 2 almost 3-year-old boys, and I'm like, whew, this is going to be tough making sure that social emotionally they're ready for the 3 to 6 classroom. But I have a 2.3-year-old who is so ready for the next environment. And I'm like, I think she needs to move up, and I need to let the other 2 cook with me just a little bit longer. But we have state licensing here that won't allow such things. Any other questions? I would love to see all of you join the course. I'm excited to get it started. And it sounds like Judy is excited to get going too, maybe. So if you're interested.
Judy is a school owner. So she's looking at supporting her teachers.
It's just I'm worried about my 3 to 6 course is a bit too much.
I
Just the
understand.
juggling. Yeah, but I'm really interested in doing the course as well. Yeah.
It's not too bad. I tell people, plan, depending on who you are and how much you give to it, plan on about 5 hours a week. Some weeks can be less than that, but plan that it might take you up to 5 hours.
Yeah. Then plus my 3 to 6, there's like 10 hours.
Plus your 10. But I said up to. Some weeks won't be so bad, and you get the 30-day grace period.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And some of this you're going to already know from your 3 to 6 class that you're taking. There will be some weeks where this is going to be information that you don't have to take as many notes on because you've already had this information.
Mm. Yeah, professional development courses, the assignment is actually very light compared to the teacher certification, because the other one is like really going to college, it's college standard. But you come out richer anyways, right? Knowing that you know how to support the children that you work with, right? Yeah. So I'm also looking at elementary next level, but professional development, not the teacher certification, because I'm no longer working in the classroom.
Mm.
Juvie, you had a question.
Well, it's not a question actually, but I just want to share really my feeling about this program. Because like Tina, I talked to Catherine and I really feel that having this 3 to 6 certificate is okay. But if you don't have this, the 0 to 3, it seems like you are dressed up not completely. So yeah, I think it's really a good ground or foundation to really proceed if you are really into study, children's development. So I am just really considering the time, how to manage it, because I'm taking the 3 to 6 course. Yeah, hopefully.
I totally understand, and believe me, I'm going to work with you to make sure that we'll come up with a compromise so that you can do everything if you want to do
I
it.
assure you that professional development assignments are very light.
Yeah.
It's
It
not
will be.
intended
And
to
because you're
overwhelm.
already in the routine of writing and doing discussion posts and things like that, you will find that this will be easy. The people that it's hard for are people who have never taken a course, have never done discussion posts. Sometimes that takes them a week or two to get into the routine. And how I do it is the first week or two, everything is competence demonstrated pretty much, as long as you give it a go and go into it. And we work towards developing your writing a little bit more if you've been out of the loop. But if you've been in it and you're taking a course, I tell you, you'll be able to knock out the discussion posts and the assignments pretty quickly. Because you're used to doing it. You're used to reflecting.
Yeah.
Hopefully you've been watching videos and doing a lot of reflecting. So you're already a pro at that. I have only taught this course, but I took through CGMS. They have a doula course, and it's a 10-week course, and I absolutely loved it. It was wonderful, and it gave me the opportunity to take a course through CGMS from an adult learner standpoint instead of just an instructional guide standpoint.
Yeah. Oh, so you did sign up for the doula course?
Yeah, I took the very first doula course they had, and I loved it. It was amazing.
Yeah, I was also like looking at it. I went for the briefing. Kitty K said, Catherine, you're already very busy. Are you sure you have time? But learning is lifelong, right? You just want to jump in and keep learning and learning.
It is. Yeah. I just took a class I just signed up for a class as if I don't have enough on my plate right now. Yesterday I happened to see this class out of the Prague that was for 0 through 3, all the same things that I teach, but I thought I want to see it through her eyes. I want to see this classroom. And so I signed up for this course.
Thank you, Tina. That's very comforting. I hope I could really manage my time and jump in the course.
I hope so too. You seem like somebody who would get a lot from this, and I love the way that you said that. You really feel like you need the 0 through 3 to complete everything, to really have an understanding of the whole child. And I think it's important to at least understand zero through 6 if you're working with them. Just like I think it's a good idea for elementary to really get that upper and lower elementary so that you're really seeing that whole plane and not just the subplane.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And for anybody who doesn't fully understand what we're talking about there with the subplanes, by the end of this 10-week course, you will understand the terminology that we're using. And I'll make sure it's easy for you to understand as well.
Yes,
I'm
Nyla,
excited too.
yes, we're excited too. We need a couple more to sign up. Yes, thank you, Afian. I've got your email as well, so I'll send you the replay. Anybody else who wants the replay, if you can just quickly leave a message so I make sure I do not leave you out. And if there are any more last minute burning questions for Tina, this is the time to ask before we sign out. We want to release you for your weekend. Thank you, Francia.
I just want to tell you too, for anybody who's contemplating the course, just to get to see the whole video of Hazel setting the table, it's worth it right there. I absolutely love, I have watched Hazel set that table so many times.
Yes, me too. And this is a video I often play during training as well. Because
Oh, I love
especially
it.
parents, right? They don't realize how capable their kids are.
Absolutely. Yeah. The one before this that I showed and Hazel setting this table, I have just watched these over and over because they're so beautiful. And sometimes even when you just have a hard day in the classroom, you watch them and you're like, oh yeah, I was the cause of the hard day. It was my fault.
How old is that child?
She's 2.
She's 2.5, I believe.
Mm.
Right? Isn't
Yeah,
Hazel
I
like
think
2
it's just
points?
about two-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know at one time I knew her exact age, but I believe it's 2.5.
It's very inspiring.
Yeah. When
She was
parents
really
don't
on
believe that their
all
kids can
course.
do it, I always play Hazel's video.
Yeah. Yep. I today in my environment, a little girl, she got up to clean up from lunch and she spilled her pitcher of milk that she had. And the little boy who was next to her got up, walked over, got the mop, and mopped up her spill for her. It was so sweet.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I'm getting a lot more emails now from everyone who wants the replay. Thank you for that. And I'll make sure it gets to you. Okay, as soon as it's ready. Yeah, and if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to we can end the session. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us that 1 hour of your time. Yeah, thank you so much, Tina, for giving us a quick overview of the program. I am excited to get everyone started, and I might be just in the class too.
That would be great. And it's my pleasure. Thank you all for giving me an hour of your time and considering the course. I hope that I see each one of you, hopefully this time or the next one in the future, but really hoping this time so we can get everything kickstarted. And I guarantee you, you'll be glad you did.
Yes,
It's only 10 weeks. You can do anything for 10 weeks. That's what I tell people.
yes, yes. And we always think that we, in the next time, the next round, we'll never get to it, right? And then you beat yourself up.
Tina is very convincing.
You're in, I'm in.
Thank you, Tina.
Really,
Okay.
truly, it's my pleasure.
All right. Thank you, everyone. You have a good
Bye.
weekend. And
Thank you,
we'll hope to see
Catherine.
you
Thank
again.
you all.
Yes.
Good weekend. Bye-bye.
Too. Bye.
Good. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, let me stop the recording.